Am I wrong for making all the women in my family leave my wedding after they showed up wearing white? I, 33 male, have a large family, mostly aunts and female cousins aside from the mom, stepmom, stepsister, and grandmother. I don't know how to say this, but all those women I mentioned above are into teasing and joking. They formed a unit which I admit is kind of toxic, and they tease and roast every new woman that enters the family by marriage by setting up tests to see if they deserve to be part of the family, or roast their looks and styles to the point of breaking confidence and self-esteem down. Then, after a few months of teasing, they announced that they finally welcomed them into the family. The newest member would join in on the teasing too. When I first introduced my then girlfriend, now wife, I made it clear that I didn't want any of the women in the unit to come at her or harass her, not even with a single word. They went behind my back and roasted her looks and job, and I discovered they've been doing it on Facebook. I made them apologize one by one after they gave the "we're just testing the water to see if she's capable to be part of the family" excuse. They didn't want to apologize, but once I said I wouldn't invite any of the unit unless they apologized, including my mom, everyone immediately apologized and brought gifts for my wife. My wedding was 2 weeks ago. There was talk about the woman in the family wanting to pull a prank on my wife by wearing white and called it the ultimate test to see how my wife would react. My brother warned me, so I announced that if any one of them showed up in white, I'd have them kicked out, including my mom. They said this wasn't true and they'd never do such a thing. But they showed up to my wedding day one by one wearing white dresses, and each and every one of them was told to leave after they tried giving excuses by either making scenes or getting the men involved. The senior women of the unit, who are my mom and aunts, also showed up in white but refused to leave. I threatened to take harsher action, and my mom was pissed, telling me to step aside, but I didn't let her in. I had her leave while the men in my family were watching stunned. Dad was on my side and supported me a lot. My wife was hurt beyond measure, but the women in the family were pissed. My cousin blasted me on social media later, saying I excluded all the women from the wedding because my wife was so insecure she couldn't handle another woman's presence at her wedding. I felt absolutely awful because my wedding was being interrupted by them making scenes. I had an argument with them, and my mom berated me, saying it was supposed to be a prank, but I said they were taking it too far. My mom said I took it too far by kicking them out because they were trying to get a reaction from my wife to see if she was one of those bridezillas and were going to change as soon as the prank was over. But I ruined my own wedding, an entire wedding, by reacting so aggressively. I stopped talking after she said I had to bring my wife and apologize. I haven't seen a lot of them in 2 weeks, and they've excluded me from everything. So, was I wrong for how I handled the situation?
I got dress coded and then I got locked into a cement room at my school. So back in middle school, my middle school had a very strict dress code. Like, I'm talking, you weren't allowed to wear leggings. You weren't allowed to show your shoulder. And the main dress code was that you cannot wear ripped jeans. But me being the rebellious middle schooler I am, but one day I had no pants to wear. I had skinny jeans that had a singular rip on my knee. Like, y'all know those jeans that only have one rip on the knee and you can barely see any skin. I wore those pants because I had nothing else to wear, and it wasn't against dress code because ripped jeans are only prohibited if the rips went above your thigh. So I wasn't violating dress code, so I wore them to school. Bada bing, bada boom, I get to my first class of the day. I'm sitting in my chair like the good little student I am, minding my own business. And all of a sudden, the vice principal and like an assistant principal walk into my classroom and they go, "Can we please have Kayla Mallet?" I'm sitting there in my chair literally pooping my pants because if they send a principal down to a classroom, it is over something serious. Like, I'm gonna get expelled or suspended, or Wednesday class, something in that nature. So they walk me out of my classroom and they're walking with me down the hallway and I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? And they're like, "Honey, those jeans you have on, you can't wear those to school. They're not school appropriate." And I'm like, what? My teacher sent the principal down to her classroom to get me dress coded for a singular rip on my knee. Are you kidding me? Talk about a class distraction, okay? So they start walking me down towards the office. I'm like in 8th or 7th grade, I'm not sure what grade it was. And like, I'm at the point of crying because I've never been in trouble. Going down to the principal's office, like my eyes are tearing up. I get that feeling in my throat. I'm literally fighting back tears. But these stupid teachers just wanted to make me more humiliated. As I'm walking down the hallway with them to the office, they start commenting on my makeup, on my outfit, on my hair, like literally downgrading me and like degrading. Like, they are literally bullying a 7th or 8th grader to the point where like tears are literally coming down my face. They're literally bullying and harassing me. And they're like, they're literally sitting there making fun of me. So we get down to the principal's office. At this point, my face is all red. I'm crying. And they're like, "We're gonna have you change into a new pair of pants." And I'm like, "Well, can you guys just put duct tape over the rip in my jeans?" Because that's what they would usually do when you got dress code, is they would just tape up like with duct tape over the rips. And they're like, "No, sorry, we can't do that today." And they're like, "Go in the lost and found bin and put on a pair of pants." I was mortified because, honey, there's a reason that there's a pair of pants in the lost and found. There's a reason that that somebody took their pants off and put it in the lost and found. So I'm disgusted because I'm probably picking out a pair of pants that has pee all over it. So I pick out this pair of skinny jeans that look like they're way too small. They were crusty, like they were, how do I describe it? They were stiff. They were very stiff jeans. Like somebody had literally peed in them. They were the only jeans that were remotely in my size. All the other ones were way too big to the point where I wouldn't even fit into them, or way too small to the point where I could only fit one leg in them. So I picked those out, and I'm expecting them to take me to the bathroom to change, but oh my god, they did not, right? Because that's where you change. No, that's not what they did. Once I pick out the pair of pants, they're like, okay, come with us. And I'm like, okay. So we're walking down the hallway, and they take me down a hallway that I have never been before. They keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into this hallway. And I'm pretty sure it was like a teachers only lounge or something like that. Like this place is where no kids have gone. Then all of a sudden we get to a wooden door. She opens the wooden door, and this sounds so fake, but this is like trauma. This is trauma, honey. She opens the door and she's like, go in there and change. And I'm like, okay. So I get in there. There's no window. It's an all cement room. The floors are made of dirt. The floors are dirt. They are not wood floors. They are not cement floors. It is a dirt floor and a cement room with no windows. So I walk in there and I'm like, what? And one of the teachers comes in with me and she's like, do you need to change alone, honey, or do you need help? And I'm like, I can change alone. Like I'm in freaking 7th or 8th grade. So then she closes the door and I'm like, okay, complete darkness. I'm pretty sure it was like one light bulb on the ceiling. Like this literally looked like a dungeon. So I put on the pants and they're so tight I couldn't even button them. Like I cannot explain to you how tight these pants were. I squeeze these bad boys on and I go to open the door to go back out in the hallway and go to class, and the door's not opening. The door is locked. They locked me in. So at this point I'm like banging on the door, and then they finally open it. They locked me in. I don't know why they locked the door. Like, what do you think I'm gonna, like, what was the point of that's so weird. I come out of there all traumatized and stuff. Because at this point, they had harassed, made fun of me, took me out of class. At this point, we were out of class for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And then had me change in a cement room with dirt floors and locked me in there. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. I just wanted to go home at this point. So at this point, I'm finally expecting them to let me go back to class. They're like, come with us. They take me back down to the office and they're like, give us the ripped jeans that you had on before so that you don't put them on when you get back to class. And I'm like, okay, fine. They told me that they would give me the ripped jeans at the end of the day. I'm like, okay, cool. I give them the jeans. They send me back to class. I get to class. I'm telling my friends what happened. Not one person believed me because of how insane it was. I'm like, there is a room in this school that has dirt floors and a cement room. Like, I'm telling everybody's like, no, that's not true. That's not true. And I'm sitting there in class, literally bawling my eyes out, telling everybody. My teacher didn't believe, nobody believed me. I was sitting there crying about the whole experience. Cause like, I was like 13 or 14, like that's traumatizing. So it's the end of the day and I go down to the office to get my pants and they told me that they cannot give them to me because they don't want me wearing them to school. So for the rest of my middle school year, I don't know if I was in 7th grade or 8th grade when this happened, but up until I graduated middle school, they did not give me my ripped jeans. Every time I went down there, they said, no, they can't give them to me. And to this day, they still have my jeans and they weren't cheap.
Am I the asshole for not wanting my son's bully to attend his birthday party? So I have a son, Lucas. My ex passed away a year after Lucas was born, and Lucas is being raised by myself and my husband. He is very shy and doesn't socialize a ton in school. He does have a great small group of friends. His birthday is coming up, and he wants to have a small party with friends and classmates. We went out and picked up some invitations, and he handed them out in school. Another student that he was friends with, Tyler, picks on him every day for being shy and having 2 dads. I have met with Tyler's parents to discuss the bullying, and they even made comments about my relationship. Lucas invites his friends and classmates. Tyler's parents call me, demanding to know why Tyler did not receive an invite to the party. I explained to her that it was up to Lucas who was invited. She called me a few names and demanded for Tyler to receive an invitation tomorrow, or she would go to the school. I told my husband what happened, and he understands that I'm protecting Lucas, but should not teach him to exclude people. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for making an uncomfortable joke when my friend told me her dinner table was full with family? Over the last 20 years, everyone in my close family has died. Both my parents are gone, my grandparents, all my dad's uncles, and anyone who is still alive are scattered out amongst the country. All I have left are my siblings and my brother-in-law. My friend comes from a different family. All the uncles, aunts, cousins, and grandparents have monthly parties, stay in touch, have big celebrations, the works. All of them are still alive and active. I think she knows that I'm sensitive to the topic as I wish I had a big family, as she sometimes makes these comments like, you know, when you get married, married, your guest list will be so small compared to mine, but hey, at least it'll be cheap. At my mum's funeral, there was still a lot of open chairs, and she told me that if this was a family member of hers, all the seats would be full. I took some pictures of me, my siblings, and my brother-in-law cooking for Thanksgiving and us playing games at the dinner table, and I posted them on social media. She texted me privately saying that we looked like we were having fun, followed by pics of her huge family, and remarked the dinner table was full of family. This is where I may be the asshole. I replied, lovely, have fun. We'd have a full table too, but with the snow, it was too hard to dig everyone out of their graves. She was silent for a few hours, and then replied that joke was morbid and made her uncomfortable, and I really need to check my attitude, so am I the asshole?
Imagine we get lost in love, nowhere to go when you're far out of touch. Maybe I just don't know enough of this language you call love. I'll leave it to my head to think, cause right now I'm in between. And lately I've been scared to blink, cause I've been losing too much time to sink. And all these voices in my head, like hello, are you?
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.